Derek Sanderson Jeter, the captain, 5-time World Series champion, 14-time All-Star, 3,465 hits, first ballot Hall of Famer, coming just one single vote shy of being unanimous. If you ask the casual baseball fan or any media outlet from New York, they'll tell you that Jeter isn't just a top 5 shortstop of all time. They'll argue he's top 2, maybe even the greatest to play the position. But what if I told you that the golden legacy of number 2 is built on a foundation of media hype, pinstripe mystique, and team-driven success? What if the advanced data reveals that when it comes to raw individual baseball talent and production, at the shortstop position, Derek Jeter doesn't even smell the top 5? We aren't here to hate. Jeter is an all-time great player and an undisputed baseball icon. But today we're separating the icon from the actual production. We're going to look strictly at what happened between the lines and prove that Jeter doesn't belong in the elite top 5. We don't even have to look across baseball history. We have to just look at his own contemporaries. In his prime, Jeter wasn't even the best shortstop in his own division. Hell, for half of his career, he wasn't even the best shortstop on his own team. Today, we're putting Jeter's legacy to the test using 3 of his greatest rivals: Alex Rodriguez, Nomar Garciaparra, and Miguel Tejada. Let's start with the most glaring piece of evidence against Jeter's top 5 case. It walked right into the Bronx clubhouse ahead of the 2004 season. That's right, it's Alex Rodriguez. When A-Rod was traded to the Yankees, he was the reigning American League MVP. He was coming off a season where he hit 47 home runs and put up a staggering 8.4 wins above replacement, otherwise known as WAR. He was, by every metric, the best shortstop on the planet Earth. But because of the captain's seniority and clubhouse status, A-Rod was shoved to third base and Jeter stayed at short. That single move preserved the Jeter mystique, but it permanently warped how people judge his talent. Let's look at the numbers. During their peak overlap from 1996 to 2003, when both were playing shortstop full-time, it wasn't a contest. A-Rod wasn't just slightly better. He was playing a completely different sport. He was averaging 43 home runs and nearly 120 RBIs from the shortstop position while playing elite defense. Even if you prefer Jeter's longevity, A-Rod finished his career with 117.6 WAR compared to Jeter's 71.3. A-Rod won 3 MVPs. Jeter won 0. If you're building an all-time list, A-Rod is locked into the top 3 shortstops ever, period. If Jeter is automatically behind A-Rod, behind Honus Wagner, and behind Cal Ripken Jr., his grip on a top 5 spot is already slipping, and we're just getting started. In the late 90s, the big 3 shortstops dominated the baseball conversation: A-Rod, Jeter, and Boston's Nomar Garciaparra. And if you ask anyone who watched the game between 1997 and 2000, they'll tell you the truth. Nomar was a better baseball player than Derek Jeter. Let's erase the revisionist history. From 1997 to 2000, Nomar was an offensive juggernaut. He won back-to-back batting titles, hitting .357 in 1999 and an incredible .372 in 2000. Look at their total production during those 4 peak years. Nomar Garciaparra averaged a .337 batting average, a .577 slugging percentage, a 142 WRC plus, and a 27.5 F-WAR. Derek Jeter, on the other hand, a 325 batting average, a 479 slugging percentage, a 132 WRC plus, and a 21.2 F-WAR. Nomar was outproducing Jeter in slugging percentage by nearly 100 points. He was driving the ball with authority, playing a sharper shortstop position, and carrying a Red Sox lineup without the luxury of an absolute juggernaut lineup like Jeter had surrounding him in the Bronx. Jeter fans always point to postseason success, but Nomar actually hit .321 with a .929 OPS in his postseason career. He just didn't have Mariano Rivera closing out games behind him. Injuries unfortunately derailed Nomar's longevity, preventing him from reaching 3,000 hits. But when we evaluate top 5 status, we look at the peak dominance. Nomar's peak was undeniably higher than Jeter's. Jeter was the model of consistency, but he was never the most dominant force on the field. But wait, the Derek Jeter defenders will say, Jeter was a winner. He was the driving force of the American League. Enter Miguel Tejada. While the media was busy hyper-focusing on the Yankees-Red Sox rivalry, the Oakland A's had a shortstop who was quietly and then very loudly putting up numbers Jeter could only dream of. In 2002, Miguel Tejada put the A's on his back during their historic 20-game winning streak. He played all 162 games. He hit 34 home runs and drove in 131 RBIs and captured the American League MVP. Derek Jeter's career high in home runs, 24. His career high in RBIs, 102. Tejada didn't just beat him out in 2002. From 2000 to 2004, Tejada averaged 30 home runs and 112 RBIs a season. He was the premier run producer at a premium defensive position. During that exact same window, Jeter never once finished higher than 10th in MVP voting. Let that sink in. During Jeter's absolute physical prime, while playing for the most famous team in sports, his individual performance wasn't even considered a top 5 valuable in his own league by writers who regularly favored New York players. Players like Tajada routinely showed that Jeter's offensive ceiling was notably lower than the true elite tier of that era. Now we have to address the absolute elephant in the room. The biggest myth of Derek Jeter's legacy is his defense. He won 5 Gold Gloves, mostly because of flashy acrobatic plays like the famous dive into the stands against Boston. But modern analytics have completely exposed Jeter's glove work. The primary job of a shortstop is range, getting to balls hit in the holes. Because Jeter possessed notoriously poor lateral quickness, he simply couldn't reach the balls that average shortstops could. He didn't make many errors because if you can't reach the baseball, you can't get charged with an error. Since defensive runs saved, or DRS, began being tracked, Derek Jeter ranks dead last among qualified shortstops in baseball history with an astronomical -152 DRS. The reality check? His career defensive wins above replacement, or DWAR, is a staggering -9.4. He wasn't just an average defender statistically. He was one of the most detrimental defensive shortstops to ever play the game long term. If you're a shortstop who actively costs your team runs on defense, you cannot be a top 5 player at your position in history of any sport. Period. So where does this leave us? Derek Jeter had one of the greatest careers in Major League history. His durability, his ability to rack up 3,400 plus hits, and his uncanny knack for delivering clutch moments in October make him an undeniable Hall of Famer. He is a New York legend. But when we talk about the top 5 shortstops of all time, we're talking about the absolute peak of individual performance, defensive excellence, and dominant talent. When Alex Rodriguez completely outclassed him in raw power and value, when Nomar Garciaparra showcased a drastically higher offensive peak, and when Miguel Tejada carried teams to MVPs with elite run production, all while Jeter was putting up historically bad defensive metrics, the case falls apart. Jeter is an icon, but he's not top 5. What do you guys think? Does Jeter's rings and hit count override the advanced metrics for you? Or do you agree that he's overrated in the all-time rankings? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button, share this video with a baseball fan who needs a reality check, and subscribe to the channel for more sports commentary. El Medio del Norte, JK Reacts, signing out. See you next time, guys.